In the effort of science, I'm actually recording just a quick couple of flights. Right now I'm with the Wi-Fi turned off. However, I'm not on airplane mode, as you can tell. And I'm gonna go back to the app. You see right now I have my location is actually off by a little bit. Maybe, I did notice that if I move a little bit, sometimes it helps on pinpointing a little bit better. I'm actually right beside the airplane. Okay, I'm moving a little bit, so I'm going to record this flight as well. And now recording the flight. I'm going to stop it because I forgot to put it into NTSC. Oh. Let's switch it to NTSC. Okay. Camera is resetting. Camera has reset. The dot is actually now, my controller is actually shown on the right location. Notice that the dot has now moved, and I'm going to record. And I'm going to fly a second. Home point has actually been recorded successfully. I'm off the ground, as you can see on the camera. Perfect hover. Perfect location. The dot still holding. I'm going to be moving with the aircraft back to see if the actual dot for the RC is following as well. And it is actually following really good right now, as far as where the location is. Now I'm going to go ahead and land it. Okay, it's been landed, and I am going to leave the app here for a second just to show you guys what I'm doing. And I'm now going to put it to airplane mode. I'm going to go back to the app. I'm going to leave here, and I'm back at the app. Looks like the RC signal has now been left to dust. If you notice, it's red and it's not updating. And I'm going to give it a go again.
The home point has been updated. Take off.
I'm still recording the entire flight during all this as well. Notice that the reception on the controller, the dot is still red, and I'm actually going backwards, walking backwards again as I did before. The location for the controller has not updated. I'm getting perfect hover. Now you see the dot is jumping a little bit. Now I'm not near close to where it's showing right now. I'm gonna keep on walking. Now the dot is actually, the RC is actually displaying blue, however is on the wrong location. Going back to red. While on flight, I'm gonna address this here for a second in the sense of science. I'm going to leave the app, and I'm going to go back to off airplane mode, and I'm going to return to the app, and I'm going to start walking and see if it refreshes better. As I did before. You notice it's starting to get a little bit better. There you go. Now it's actually flickering back and forth. to not quite closer to what it was before. However, the signal is much stronger and much more reliable. Again, I'm going to land it. The dot is now back in the spot that it should have been. Oh, now it's jumped a little bit. Not horribly. It's maybe off by about 15 feet or so. I mean, it is off a bit, but not quite as much. And I'm going to leave the app yet another time. And I am going to turn on my cellular data. Okay. I'm going back to the app. The dot is not any better. So I'm going to put it. Okay, now the dot seems that is a little bit better as far as the location. I'm still recording the flight as well, meaning on the camera. Keeps on wanting to jump a little bit to that. I did notice that if I walk a little bit, it tends to pinpoint the location better. But I'm going to put it back into airplane mode. And we'll notice here whether or not that affects anything.
The home point has been
There you go.
ordered to take off.
Immediately the reception of the RC starts flickering red to blue, as it didn't do it before. It's back to red again, red to blue. The location is actually jumping a little bit now more. Notice that because it has the home point, it hasn't affected the hovering of the aircraft. Right now I'm hands off completely. However, the point showing blue, but it is actually off. Being on airplane mode seems to be the worst way to lock the location for that point. And the accuracy of the signal, or the strength of the signal. By the way, I'm going to record that I'm going to put the aircraft so that there's a little bit more contrast here. In that shot, you can see that the blades are actually perfectly still, and there's no vibration on the arms. We center the camera, and that's it. Successful touchdown. You'll notice the dot again, it jumped, and the signal is weak. And I'm going to power off or turn off the recording. And finally, I'm turning off the bird. Notice the signal, the blue dot is actually the farthest that it has ever been. And again, I'm still on airplane mode. Once that I actually switch back to Wi-Fi, the signal not only gets better. Remember, I'm on Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi off. I'm just not on airplane mode. And we can show you. I can show you this real quick again. That Wi-Fi is turned off. However, airplane mode is off as well. Okay, and that's the end of the recording.